Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to episode number 193 on season 1. And today we are getting into stash, retire, and buying ETFs. This question comes from Christopher Michael, and he says, I have been buying or been using stash retire since August. My question is this, ... I know I should have about 8 ETFs. Yeah, I would say 8. Eight's pretty good. 10 to 15 would be like my personal opinion. My question is this, should I build one ETF at a time, or should I buy all of them together and build them together? Currently I have about 90% in delicious dividends and 10% in moderate mix. Should I concentrate on one ETF at a time, or put in a little into each ETF at a time? So this is a great question, and I think that how I would approach this is how I approach my own account. And what I would do with that is basically you want to keep it plain and simple. You want to buy all of them at the same time, and that's what I would do on my account. That's my personal opinion, and this is because it's going to give you a better dollar cost average. So if you're looking at, say you want to do 10, so you're looking 10 different ETFs. So you split them up 10 different ways. That would be 10% each account. So obviously you're way over on delicious dividends, which I think is good. Since August, you probably had a pretty good consistent return. Delicious dividends has done pretty well. Even me, I've been holding them, and I'm up quite a bit since August holding them on my Robinhood account. Like, what I would do is, I don't know necessarily if I would sell delicious dividends, because you've already got that money invested in there, which means that you probably got it at a lower price than what it actually is now. So there's no real reason to sell. What I would do with that account, if my account was like yours, is I would go through and pick another. You got 2 there, so I'd pick another 6 to get to your 8 that you want, and then I would just start putting money. Say you wanted to get up to $20 or 10% in each of them or whatever. I would just put your max investment per that month divided by 8, and then exclude delicious dividends until you get it back down to that 10%, and then continue to put them all in there. And then from there, what I would do is, if one is like at 6% or something like that, I would put all my money or enough money in there to bring it back up to that 10%. In essence, so you're buying at a lower price, because they're ETFs, which means that they're not just like one stock, so that one stock is not going to just fall off and you're going to lose all your money there. It's an actual ETF, which means that if a stock starts to drop, they'll just drop it from that ETF and try to add another one that's similar or that's in that kind of same industry. So it's really a basket of stocks, and it's easy to take out one bad apple and put in a different apple than it is if you were only invested into one apple and it went bad. So that's why I would consider looking at that and trying to keep all those percentages exactly the same. I mean, and also right now it'll give you a good dollar cost average if you continue. Instead of going all into one and then all into another one, this will help you give you like a better dollar cost average on those different ETFs that you're looking to get into, which in turn may help you set up for a bigger run up if we do have a downturn or whatever it may be. Right now we're pretty stagnant in the market. We had a pretty good run the last couple of months, but this month has been kind of like a stagnant month. Not really good. I haven't gotten really any good returns on Stash, Robinhood, or Acorns this month. So been kind of stagnant, which means that it's a great time to dollar cost average. I mean, especially on the decline, it's another good time to dollar cost average as well. On the rise, the only way that I would recommend doing all in one and then all in another is if you absolutely knew that ETF was going to rise in the next 6 months to a year to 10 years to 20 years or 30 years. So then it would make sense to try to get in at that low price, because that would be the lowest that it's ever going to be at pretty much for the next 20 years. And so then you could catch the run up. But if you don't know, which nobody really actually knows, we can predict, then it doesn't really make sense. It makes more sense for you to dollar cost average, and that's what I try to recommend. Also, I think having some of your money into that mix is a good idea. Obviously, the moderate mix, I think, is very important. That's going to be a very diversified portfolio, where delicious dividends tracks the S&P 500 and companies that pay dividends. The moderate mix is also going to include really stable bonds, and then as well as some aggressive companies, but also it's going to include some pretty stable companies. So the mix, I think, is more important to hold in than the actual delicious dividends. That's just my personal opinion there. Anyways, let us go ahead and dive into the question of the day. And let's talk about New Year's resolutions. What was a New Year's resolution that you made that... So as I was saying, I guess it doesn't like me recording 2 videos in the same period of time or whatever it is. I don't know. But what I was saying is, what is one New Year's resolution that I had made that I actually accomplished? And that was a few years ago. I was really into running, and I set out to run every single day for a certain period of time. I think it was like 100 days or something like that. And I think I beat it. I think I did 120 or something. It was like I had to do 1 mile a day or more, and I did it for over 100 days straight. So that was something that I'm, kind of proud of, that I actually accomplished with a New Year's resolution. Most of my New Year's resolutions, like normal people, just fall to the wayside and you kind of forget about them. I think last year I had an idea of doing 1 push-up a day and then adding 1 to that day. So it was like 1 on one day, 2 on the next day, 3 on the next day, 4 on the next day, so on and so forth, up until 365. Obviously, I think I stopped at like 25, 30 or something like that. So it wasn't too successful there, but we'll see what I got planned going into this year. Anyways, like I always say, if you guys have any questions regarding Stash, Acorns, Robinhood, as well as general investing advice, business, Etsy, coaching, post those questions down below, and I will try to get them on the next episode. And don't forget to subscribe up here in this corner and check out my Stash Recap November edition. Check out this other video right here. And as always, thank you for watching. I really appreciate it.